author and nutritionist Robert Ferguson. Please welcome Robert Ferguson.
All right, y'all, let's hear it for America's Fat Loss Coach, Robert Ferguson!
Hello, hello, hello. Today's impromptu is called Fat Loss Tuesday. Yeah. Yes, this is Robert Ferguson, your nutritionist, a guy who shares because he cares. If you are here for the first time, I want to encourage you to go over to our YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell so that whenever we share information, you can listen to it at your convenience. Now, did you notice the title of my share today? Let's take a look at it. 8 pounds. I can lose 8 pounds in one day. I can gain 8 pounds in one day. Yeah. And what I'm going to share with you was inspired by a couple of my clients this morning. And I like to do this talk actually, but I'm going to condense it within 15 minutes. I believe you'll totally own this. And it will help many people who get on the scale and they're not happy with what they see. You know, like you ever have those moments where you're doing everything right, and you get on the scale and the scale is not your friend. Has that ever happened to anybody? Like how many people will join some weight loss program or maybe go into like a boot camp or start eating differently or try to follow some diet, and you feel like you're doing everything right, and sometimes the scale moves, sometimes it doesn't. Man, doesn't that drive you absolutely crazy? Well, I want you to get what I'm about to share because it's going to help you. Okay? Now, let me preface by saying that conservatively, on a minimum, if you weigh 150 pounds, man or woman, at least half of that weight is coming from water, right? So if you're 150 pounds, then we know that about 75 pounds of that 150 pounds is water. If you're 200 pounds and you step on that scale, at least 100 pounds is water. If you're 300 pounds and you step on that scale, at least 150 pounds is water. Now, knowing that, because this doesn't always hit home, but knowing that, I want you to think of weight and water as pounds. See, many people, especially in America, North America, we look at weight not in kilos, but in pounds. So I want everybody to just keep doing what you're doing. We're thinking pounds, okay? Now, when you think of water, most people think of water as cups or a cup. And every once in a while, 8 ounces. And I think all of us get 8 ounces is a cup. A cup is 8 ounces. So now I'm going to ask you a question. How many cups of water does the average person drink? And I need somebody to respond. I need somebody to catch me live. On average, how many cups of water? Maybe how many cups do you drink in a day? Right? 8 ounces is a cup. A cup is 8 ounces. And oftentimes I'll hear people say, yeah, I do about a liter and a half. No, let's keep, we're going to talk pounds. But for right now, I want you to answer the question. How many cups of water do you drink a day? Okay. Someone says 4. Someone else says 10. Okay. Now, I want you to think of this question and answer it. Right? So if you said 4, if you said 8, if you said 10, how many pounds of water do you drink a day? How many pounds of water? Not cups, not 8 ounces, which is a cup. A cup is 8 ounces. How many pounds of water do you drink a day? This is where, isn't it interesting? You don't hear anyone talk like this. No one says, oh yeah, I had 8 pounds of water yesterday. They'll go, I had 8 cups, or I had 16 cups, or I had a half gallon. You'll hear gallon, Well, we know that a gallon of water is about 8.3 pounds. So think pounds. Because if you can get this as far as water in pounds, I'm going to share with you a technique today that will help you when it comes to the scale big time. And I'm going to walk you through step by step how I can get anybody to gain 8 pounds and lose 8 pounds in the same day. And if you notice, the people who are catching me live, I ask how many cups. There's people responded 4, 8, 10. Then I said, how many 8-ounce cups of water a day. People responded. But when I asked the question, how many pounds of water, nobody responds because we don't think about water in pounds. But yet half our body weight is made up of water. This is a major discrepancy. So let me tell you, if you drink, let's say you drink a gallon of water a day, that would be 8 pounds. Now that's a lot of water. But let's just say if you really focused, if you woke up and you started drinking water and you counted coffee as part of your water and tea as part of it, you could probably get a gallon in. So let's use the example of someone who weighs 200 pounds. They weigh 200 pounds. And let's say that they're about to step on the scale and it's 11 a.m. in the morning. And right before they step on the scale, I have them drink 8 pounds of water, a gallon of water. So if they're 200 pounds, they drink 8 pounds of water. If they step on the scale, what are they going to weigh? That's right, 208 pounds. They drink the water, they step on the scale, it's 11 a.m., they now weigh 208 pounds. And now for the rest of the day, they're not going to eat any food, they're not going to drink any water. So what do you think is going to happen? Well, in a short period of time, they're going to need to go to the restroom. So let's say they go to the restroom and they come back, get back on the scale. And now, instead of being 208 pounds, they're 207 pounds. Wow, you just lost a pound. So now 2 hours goes by and they look down at the scale and they're 206.5 pounds. Wait a minute. You didn't eat anything. You didn't drink anything. You were 208. You went to the restroom. You came back. You're 207. Now you're 206.5. And if 2 more hours goes by, they're going to be 205, maybe 205.5. And now they got to go to use the restroom again. They come back. And now it's around dinner time. They're 204 pounds. But not too long ago, they were 208 pounds. Now, let's say they don't eat and they don't drink anything and they go to bed. When they wake up, how much do you think they're going to weigh? Okay. Come on, you guys, guess on this one. When they wake up in the morning, right? So remember, at 11 a.m., they were 200 pounds. They drank a gallon of water. They stepped on the scale. They're 208 pounds. It's now 8 o'clock at night. They're 205 pounds. They haven't eaten or drank anything. When they wake up in the morning, they're probably going to be 200 pounds. They gained 8 pounds in one day, and they lost 8 pounds in less than 24 hours. Guys, there's a thing called metabolic water, and you don't hear people talk about it much, but our bodies can create water, right? It's kind of like if you look at the bear that goes into hibernation, it gains a lot of fat, and then it goes and sleeps for 6 to 8 months. It doesn't drink water, but it stays hydrated. Where is it getting that water? It's called metabolic water. When your fat is metabolized, where does the fat go? It leaves your body how? Well, when it's metabolized, it leaves CO2 and water, carbon dioxide and water. The majority of the fat that you burn leaves through you breathing, through your lungs. You evaporate. Water evaporates. It's like if you take a gallon of water, you open it up and you just leave it on the table, You think it's going to forever be a gallon of water? No, the water is going to evaporate. So the water in your body evaporates. So you're going to be lighter on the scale because you are primarily made up of water when it comes to your weight. You are water. So it can fluctuate. Your weight on the scale can fluctuate every day. And it's trying to stay at homeostasis, meaning how much water your body wants to have. And guess what? If you eat a high salt meal, there's this hormone called vasopressin. It's going to kick in. It's going to be elevated in your blood. And guess what's going to happen? Your kidneys are going to hang on the water. You can eat chicken and it will pull water from the chicken. It will pull it from the broccoli. It will pull it from whatever you consume to hold that water. We know this. And when you have all of this happening, there's this polyol pathway that kicks in, and it can convert glucose that's in your body. It converts it to sorbitol, then it converts it quickly to fructose. Fructose drives fatty liver. Fructose drives you to be heavier, fatter, because that's a survival mechanism. More fat you have, the more potential water can be released back into your body. So depending on how much water you drink today dictates what you weigh on the scale tomorrow. And how much water you drink 2 days ago plays a huge role in what you're going to weigh on the scale, because you are primarily made up of water. Water, 1 cup is 8 ounces. 2 8 ounces together is 16 ounces. 16 ounces equals 1 pound. If I drink 5 pounds of water and step on the scale, I'm going to be 5 pounds heavier. But if I don't drink or eat anything, then my weight's going to go down on the scale. And then people play these magic tricks, right? It's like, hey, I'm going to cut out carbs. Okay, so you don't eat carbs, what's going to happen? Your body is always burning carbs, always burning fat for fuel. You have stored carbs inside your liver and your muscles. Your body will use what's in your muscle and then what's in your liver. And when it's gone, you're going to be lighter on the scale, because for every gram of carb you have stored in your liver, for every gram you have stored in your muscles, you have 3 grams of water attached to it. So when people go low carb and they see that quick weight loss, that's not fat loss, that's water. And you probably lost muscle, because muscle can break itself down to amino acids, and amino acids can convert to glucose, because your body that's where we'll get it from. Or it can be stored as fat. This is why you want to eat a balance. You want to take a nutritious approach to weight loss. Slower is often better as far as how much weight you lose, because you want to lose fat weight and not just weight on the scale that is coming from water, muscle, bone. Boom. Now, I know that was a lot, but if everyone could get what I'm saying, you won't be upset when the scale fluctuates. It may be up. That's okay. What's important is, how did you eat the day before, and how have you been eating, and what was your exercise like? Because if you are creating health, right, you're living a lifestyle as you drop the body fat, okay, the scale can fluctuate. It means nothing. But for years, right, you go to the doctor's office, they have you step on the scale, they look at your weight, they look at your height, and they have an opinion about if you're healthy or not. You go and do like one of the most popular weight loss programs ever, which is called Weight Watchers. You walk in, everybody's in line to check their weight. They're not looking at body fat percentage. They're not looking or concerned of how much of your weight loss is coming from muscle. And now you have all these weight loss drugs, right? Wegovy, Ozempic. We know that well over 70% of the weight loss from these drugs is coming from your muscle. So you're not leaner as far as fat. Now you're burning some fat because they're not eating. And then the body goes into survival mode and stores. So it backfires, because now you have a 62-year-old woman or 74-year-old man. The doctor puts them on it, does not disclose that there's a high risk of losing skeletal muscle, which means puts him at a high risk of falls as well as hip fractures, which we all know that a significant amount of people who get a hip fracture go to the hospital do not come out of the hospital. And if they have one hip fracture, they will have another one. There's a very high percentage of people who will get that again. This is why people come to coaches like me, because we're going to inform you so you're not influenced or led by those who are misinformed. I know quite a few people who are taking these drugs because they don't want to take the time to learn about nutrition. And I feel for them, because a large majority of people they may go to may give them wrong information. So where do you go? We got to find some good sources. And that's why I encourage my clients and all of our coaches, encourage them to question, to challenge us. It makes us a better coach. When you step on the scale, half of your weight on that scale is water. Half. So when people say, oh yeah, I lost 20 pounds, ask them, well, 20 pounds of what? And then they'll look at you weird. And you'll say, well, was it fat that you lost? Was it muscle? You think combination? Was it water? It must be fat because I feel good and my clothes are, they fit better. Oh, okay. They don't know. They don't know. But now you know, and that's what it's all about. So yes, you can lose 8 pounds in one day. You can gain 8 pounds in one day. It's called water. Now, can you lose 8 pounds of fat in one day? Probably not. I mean, yeah, you would have to be in really, 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 really good shape and have a good amount of fat on your body. But yet you would have to be in really good shape, which means if you're in really, 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 really good shape, you're not going to have that much fat. But if you were, then you could probably exercise that fat off. Because remember, your lungs are the primary tool used to excrete fat from your body. Then sweat, of course, urine and crying, water, carbon dioxide. Your fat is not burned inside your muscles. Your fat is not converting constantly, because when we say burning fat, it leaves, from a metabolic point of view, over 80% of it leaves because of your lungs. Now you know. And what's interesting, when you start to realize how many people really don't know. Because they don't. They just don't know. So I think what's important is that you know. And you can go and Google everything that I've shared. You can go research it, and you go, wow, Robert was sharing some good information. And what's the take home before I say goodbye? The take home is, let's understand that half our weight, at least half our weight, is made up of water. And when you look at that, you say, okay, well, what is the rest of our weight? Okay, if you have water, and let's say I'm 200 pounds, 100 pounds is water. So what's the other 100 pounds made up of? Ooh, I think I should do that on the follow-up, right? Because you're probably getting it, okay, my hair is part of that weight. I've seen guys in boxing matches actually cut their hair because they were a half a pound overweight and they had long hair. They cut their hair and now they made weight. I've seen people go, do a number 2 when they're a half a pound overweight and come back and now they're at weight. So hair, nails, eyeballs, liver, kidneys, heart, all of these things make up a certain percentage of your weight. Your bones make up some of your weight on the scale. Your muscles make up some of your weight on the scale. And I believe muscle is around 32%. So if 32% of the 100% that's important weight is actually my muscle, I don't want to lose any muscle. And yes, blood makes up a big part of your weight. And 83% of blood is made up of water. 22% of bone is made up of water. 75% of your muscles, as far as the weight, is made up of water. Wow. So you got muscles, okay, so the water, 75% of your brain, as far as the weight, is made up of water. We are water. That's the take home. We are primarily made up of water, and water can fluctuate. If you have a real good workout and you fuel yourself good, your muscles get that pump, you're going to have more water in that muscle. So you'll be a little heavier on that scale. Right? So you get those people say, man, I'm working out hard. I'm really putting in the energy. I stepped on the scale and I gained 2 pounds. 2 pounds of what? If it's your muscle, that means you're smaller. Muscle's more dense. Based on size, it's going to weigh more on the scale compared to fat. Man, I'm glad I did this. I hope this helped. I really do. I hope it helped. I wanted to share. I share because I care. And if you want to learn more, you guys, about me, or contact us or learn about our programs, I've provided some links. We got the detox drop. You can drop it like it's hot. And when I say drop it, that could be your waistline. It could be your body fat. It could be your blood pressure. It could be your uric acid levels. You can drop that blood pressure. That's a big deal for a lot of people. So there you have it. All right. You guys have a good one. Again, this is Fat Loss Tuesday. If you're catching the replay, make sure you go over to our YouTube channel, hit the bell, subscribe, so that at least when we share some information, you can listen to it at your convenience. And if you have questions, you can always post in the comments, and I'll do my best to come back around, or sometimes some of our coaches will see it and we will answer it the best we can. And if we don't have the answer, we'll let you know that we don't. And if it's intriguing, we'll go and help you find it. Other than that, be well. Sharing the good news, always over the Diet Blues. Until the next one, peace.